Hello. May I have your attention, please? Ah, ça marche. It works. Okay, good morning. I hope you didn't have too much problem with the train I had to run. This is why I'm a bit sweaty today. We'll start with our new talents. First of all, I'd like you to click, Charlotte. Yes. So a huge welcome to Stefan, who joins the executive team as our new Chief Marketing Officer. Please, Stefan, on the cross right here.
Great, good morning everyone. Thank you very much for the warm welcome. It's my second day. On my first day I arrived 2 hours late because my flight was almost cancelled, so not that a good start. This day is much better. Again, thank you very much. I have a lot to learn. I look forward to working with all of you. Just some background. My family and I, we live in Vienna. We have 4 kids. The eldest is already 22. The smallest is 7 years old. They're listening to music all the time, and whenever Liv, she's the smallest one, sings a song in a new language, she's convinced that she can speak the language, so she can speak English, French, and Spanish, but only the words that she hears in the lyrics. Other than that, my wife is a psychotherapist, she's a psychoanalyst, so she knows what I'm thinking before I do, which is pretty scary. I have a lot of reflection back home with that. In terms of professional development, I used to work for a couple of management consultancies before I joined. Also was head of Google Germany for 5 years, worked for a large telco and for a big data startup in Berlin, and obviously super excited to be here. I will spend the next couple of days and weeks to learn and meet from all of you, and then we'll see where we can take that enormously exciting brand Deezer with all of your help. Thank you very much, and I'm very excited to be here. In my day-to-day life, I'm supported by Sarah, who has been introduced a couple of weeks ago, and had to go to the awkward period of not being able to tell what she's going to do. So Sarah and I will be working together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Hope you'll enjoy it at Deezer. Lots of challenge. Our next newcomer is Olivier Hérol. Is he around? Yes. So joins the monetization and engagement team. A few words about you.
Yeah. Hello. So my name is Olivier, actually, and I come from Ireland. I used to work 5 years over there at PayPal and then at Etsy in fraud. And I'm very delighted to join the fraud team at Deezer. What can I say? So yeah, I will work as a payment fraud specialist in order to optimize a little bit the fraud department here. Yeah, I just came 2 weeks ago in France, so I need to use the transport, RER, metro, very difficult. But yeah, we will use to it, and yeah. One more thing, I think you don't know, but my wife is pregnant, twins, and thank you. And it will be my Christmas present. So, yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. So now we're welcoming Jean-Christophe, who joins the engineering team.
Hi. Thank you. So I'm Jean-Christophe Paris. I come from Lille, north of France. I arrived in Paris about 3 years ago. Firstly for school and then for work. I used to work for Printic. It's a small company that print picture of your phone on an amazing product. I'm very passionate about Apple ecosystem and everything that we can do with an iOS app or macOS app or everything. So I'm here to join the iOS team in engagement and monetization to do great stuff about the Deezer app.
Thank you, Jean-Christophe, and welcome. So next newcomer, Hélène, joined the strategy and operation team.
Hello everyone, my name is Hélène. I will be a project manager in the strategy and operations department. Before joining Deezer, I used to be a consultant at Accenture Strategy for 6 years, with a short break to do the INSEAD MBA. Well, not very original, I love music. I'm a huge fan of Pink, so if you are, please come talk to me. And yeah, I also love sports, tennis and squash, so if you want to play.
Thank you. Welcome, Hélène. So next in line will be, is it Jonas or Jonas?
Hello, I'm from Sweden, Södertälje, small city. Directly after high school, I went to Germany. I was there for 7 or 8 years, working for different motion studios, and that's what I will be doing here, motion design. And yeah, I used to work for a tech company called Jimdo, kind of similar to this one. And yeah, I hope to do a lot of great videos here and have a lot of fun. Yeah.
Thank you, Jonas, and welcome. And now we're welcoming Denis. No, not here. Okay. So, oh yeah. So there you go.
Hello, my name is Denis. I come back after 4 years of freelance. I already worked here for 2 years, 6 years ago. And I joined the content team for catalog, backstage, and whatever, in web development. It's okay.
Thank you, Denis. And just to let you know that Bruno de Grazia-Ruiz, who was formerly a customer support coordinator, has been promoted to junior CRM specialist in London. So well done to him. And now I'm calling Sharina, who is going to give us an update on Mina marketing.
Okay. Hi everyone. No, I was just asking to refresh the presentation, but it's fine. It's okay. It's not. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Okay. Just a word of intro. We wanted, with the brand team, to talk to you about Mina launch, the media campaign launch. That we had on October 15, because it involved everyone, virtually everyone at Deezer, on every level, and the media campaign is just the end point of that. So this is, I believe, a success that we all share. So very quickly, we'll try to remain synthetic. We can go to the next slide. Very quickly, for your geography. These are the main markets that we have identified in Mina, based on their potential economics, in terms of media landscape, and also in terms of affinity towards Rotana catalog. So we really focused on launching in Arab Emirates, Saudi Arabia, Lebanon, Egypt, and to a lesser extent in Morocco and Algeria. And now I will let Andreas speak to you about the creative strategy.
Both of us. So yeah, quickly, a quick heads up on the brand and creative strategy. So when it comes to the brand strategy in Mina, obviously, we had to take a step back because the configuration is very different there than in more major markets, we're in. So 2 things. The first thing is that obviously, people are not used as music streaming services as they might be in other markets. So we needed to be very straightforward in our messaging. And then the second thing is that obviously people don't know who we are and what we do, and therefore our main objective was first to generate some brand awareness in terms of who we are. Because when you think of our main competitor, who is Onhami in the region, Onhami means tunes in Arabic. So people really definitely know what it's about. When it comes to Deezer, people don't know who we are and what we do. So first objective with this first launch, which was a tactical launch because we wanted to launch before Spotify did, was really to generate some brand awareness. And then the second objectives were to generate some brand association to music and to our catalog, showing that we are a music streaming service that both has local and international catalog. So again, in terms of messaging, how do we articulate that while taking into account our brand attributes, which are local, human, and diverse? Well, we come up with a very straightforward messaging, and we say that it's only on Deezer that you will get both a very extensive local and international catalog. So when you think of Onhami, obviously, you know, they have a deep local catalog, but our strength is that we have a partnership with Rotana, which is one of the biggest labels in the region. And then the second thing, if you think of our Western competitors, such as Spotify, obviously they have a very extensive international catalog, but not that much in terms of local catalog. So messaging, very straightforward, only on Deezer you can get both your local and international catalog. So it's really about showing the breadth of content that we have. So it's a very functional message, not very emotional, but it's very typical of a strategy that you would do when you would launch in a country. So in order to be a bit more emotional, we decided to show our most glamorous side, which is through artists, and Andreas is going to show you the creatives in 1 minute. So the idea, again, very simple, is to show 2 different artists, one local and one international, to show that only on Deezer you can listen to all these artists and all this local and international catalog. So now Andreas is going to present you the creatives.
So on a very basic level, the most fun part about this obviously was dealing with international artists on a 24-hour deadline. So this is, as you can imagine, this is what the campaign, by the way, looks like in the Emirates. So we had a variety of formats sort of basically everywhere in out-of-home in the Emirates and in Saudi Arabia and Lebanon. And for that, we basically had to clear the combinations of like a Western artist and an Eastern artist and a Middle Eastern artist together with artist marketing. So that was like they were basically on the phone with the record companies for the entirety of the preparation. And then we had to figure out sort of what was okay in the different countries to use. For example, we have playlist covers in there. And in Saudi Arabia, for example, in out-of-home, you can't show any women at all. So we couldn't even have any women in the slight little playlist cover thumbnails there. And then we had to like balance the playlist covers by region, by which artist is okay with being used in that. And then, of course, last minute, a bunch of artists pull out and said they're actually not okay with it anymore, and we remove everything. So this is what it ended up looking like. So visually, the idea was just like we used the picture of the app, so it was clear that something is going on the phone. We use close-ups of very, very famous artists, so it's like really just the A-listers all around, so that you know music, app, and then there's some of the colors that we use also used in the photograph. So that's literally the bottom line of everything. This is what it looks like. And so yeah, these are the different, on the international side, we had Shakira and Calvin Harris and Dua Lipa and Justin Timberlake. And then we matched them with the local artists. Yeah, so this is just an overview of how that went, and for that we did, the copywriting, for example, was done with a local copywriter and then about approximately like 19 people here and in the region who had opinion on how that sounded like. Because of course we don't know in Arabic, and that was how the copywriting was done, and that was together with my copywriter Arnaud, and the design was done with Herem and our team in London to pull all this off in like when the deadline was 2 days ago. So yeah, thank you very much for your help, and I think Sharina will continue.
And sorry, just one thing I wanted to mention before Sharina takes over is that obviously this couldn't have happened, the creative side, without the artist marketing partnership. So they worked really hard on, getting us the biggest artists, both local and international. So big thank you to the artist marketing team.
Okay, now let's talk a little bit about money. So in terms of media buy, we are up to date. So from 15th of October until end of last week, we spent roughly 1.5 million euros on these 6 markets. Our strategy was really to focus on a combination of out-of-home, radio, and digital for our 4 main markets. The reason for this is that so people in these countries commute a lot in their car. There are a lot in traffic. So out-of-home is great to reach them, especially the urban population, so the target audience that we are the most interested in. Basically, the biggest investment was really on out-of-home. So for those who are not familiar with this term, it means affichage in French. So basically, we thought that while people are in their car, in the traffic, they get out-of-home posters of Deezer, and at the same time, they would get message on radio. So we added a little bit of radio on top of it. And the rest of it is digital, because digital is really fundamental in these markets as well. Until today, we invested a lot in Arab Emirates and Saudi Arabia for 2 reasons. So the first one is that these markets have a high potential, but these were also the markets where we still had availabilities. We booked very late. So this was a very, very rush launch. And in Egypt, we didn't have placements left in out-of-home until November 1st. In Algeria and Morocco, we went with very small digital budgets. So a few pictures before I go ahead. So you saw these already. On top of these posters, we also had 15 seconds radio spots. We also had lots of digital placements with Facebook ads, with Twitter ads, Instagram ads, Google ads. We also had mobile interstitials. For the first time, I think, at Deezer, we bought the YouTube homepage with mastheads. So this is it's basically 100% reach, like everyone going on YouTube on those days could see our ad on the homepage. We bought videos, and we also wanted to be local, so we also bought placements on local websites, such as Yasmina here. So a quick word about our job at Deezer. When we buy media, we need, offline especially, we need reassurance before we validate and we commit budget on it. So what we try to do is to define KPIs and reach them, media KPIs. So the first KPI would be the reach. So how much of your target are you able to reach with your advertising? Our objective was to reach 70% of our core audience. We also monitor the repetition, so the frequency, because it's really important for ad recall, and it will depend a lot on the media you choose. So for instance, on TV with a frequency of 4, you are quite good. But this is not enough for out-of-home. You need to be really higher than that. So for instance, when we had this out-of-home campaign with Fnac in France, we went up to 70 frequency, which is very high, and it really ensured that everyone here remembers the campaign. And here so the challenge here for us was that on those markets, out-of-home is not measured. So we could not check those KPIs, unfortunately, but we are still measuring everything else. So on Facebook, we reached 73% reach. On YouTube, as I said, almost 100%. On radio, only 50%, but it's okay because we know that out-of-home does compensate for this small reach. As far as share of voice is concerned, so share of voice, for those who are not familiar with it, it's basically how much placement you had in, versus your competition. So we can believe that at least for the past 2 weeks, we had 100% share of voice because as far as we know, there was no campaign from Apple Music or from Spotify yet. So we might have already exceeded our objective here. Now, I think that's the most beautiful graph I saw at Deezer until now. Like we launched on October 15, and we had a huge peak everywhere, especially in Egypt, which is interesting because in Egypt we only had digital. So we know that there is a huge potential of volume. In Arab Emirates, you can think that results are not as high as we expected, but we did not see the conversion rate. So maybe these few users will actually convert better than the Egyptian. So this remains to be seen. Also, just so you can see, our main job is actually to put together the spends, how much we invested, in front of the volumes that we got out of it. So we can calculate a very smart cost per trial here. And we can see that indeed when we invest a lot, obviously, we have a very high cost per trial. But that's short term. Maybe in the long run, we will progressively have it lower and lower and get the outcome of these efforts. And you can see that in Algeria and Morocco, we were very, very efficient. So we believe that with very small budgets, we managed to have very high impact because we are leader in France and we know that these markets are very sensitive to what's happening in France. I won't bother you too much with graphs, but we are very also proud of this graph, which shows that YouTube Masthead was initiated a massive peak in Saudi Arabia. This is not the case as much for Arab Emirates, as you can see on the orange line. And this helps me to kindly remind everyone that tracking is really, really key for us, so we can understand what's happening here and we can learn from it. So, word of conclusion, we had a very successful launch. It's thanks to all of you here. And yet we need to check the conversion rate into paying sub, which remains a total mystery for us.
Thank you very much for this great presentation. If you have any questions, you know who to ask. Sherina will be happy to answer in detail more of the graphs. And now on to another very interesting subject, product updates with Anne and Benoit.
Hi, everybody.
Hello.
So, yes, we have decided to present this product roadmap together because the product needs the product marketing and the product marketing needs the product.
Yeah, we are BBF, basically.
So it's an overview of the product roadmap for this quarter. So if you want to have more details, you can go to the link at the end of the presentation.
And sorry, it's going to be the quickest roadmap ever at Deezer, but we have only something like 5 minutes. So the first thing that we released actually a few days ago, it's a manual activation trial. So we want to measure the impact of the trial on conversion. So today, people that join Deezer are pushed in an automatic trial, and we want to measure this on conversion. So we did a 3-branch A/B test, one with the actual trial, one with a manual trial. So if you need a premium feature, then you can enter the trial, and one with no trial. So I don't have any data yet, but I'll come back in a few weeks to give you the results of those tests.
The Mina launch, you've just seen previously in the presentation, so it's a success right now.
The winter offer, so we launched last week the new and annual winter offer, and I think, if I'm not mistaken, we have already 100,000 subs for this offer. So congrats to the team. It's off to a great start.
Deezer students, so for who doesn't know, it's to get 50% off for a whole year of Deezer Premium. If you are a student and if you are eligible, if you are between 18 and 25 years old. So we are working on different topics around this offer. And right now we are really focused on the re-verification process because you can renew this offer after 12 months, but it's not automatic. So we need to push the student to renew this subscription again. The annual plan.
The annual plan, so we already have an annual plan. So you buy Deezer for a year and you have 2 months off. And it was launched for our premium a few weeks ago. And now we want to launch it for the Hi-Fi users.
And we will work on the new branding for this Hi-Fi offer because we are thinking that the beauty is in the details. So we need an inspiring campaign for this offer. So we have divided this presentation in 3 categories: offers, then features. So the desktop app will be soon available for all users with many benefits like the offline mode for the premium users and a completely new application for our Windows 10 users. It won't be a beta anymore. So
thank you. So Siri shortcut. So I don't know if, like me, you always dream to be able to talk to Siri and say, "Hey Siri, play my flow." If it's the case, like me, maybe not. Maybe I'm just a silly Apple fan, but it's gonna be able. You will be able to do it on the 26th of November. So we implement the new feature releases with iOS 12, Siri shortcuts that you see more and more in several apps, and you will be able to say to Siri, "Hey Siri, play my flow. Hey Siri, play my song in my music in shuffle, and hey Siri, play my favorite tracks."
Yeah.
No applause.
Congrats to each product team, yeah. No, no, no. For Siri, yes, maybe.
Siri, it's global.
But podcast, no. Yeah. And this is the same for Waze, in fact. So yes, if you want to drive safety and if you want to listen to your music without any complication on the road, so we have integrated Deezer inside the Waze application. And so it has been released for beta tester right now for Waze users, and it will be released on iOS at the end of the month and on Android a few months later.
Explicit filter. So explicit filter was released for Mina. It's basically the ability to get rid of explicit content out of recommendation or out of Deezer at all. And so it's a good thing for Mina, but it's actually a really good thing for countries that are more, let's say, shy from a political standpoint, like the US, for example, or even for us, that when we have kids, it's really convenient. I used to listen to Therapy Taxi a lot, and when I have my kids, I do want the explicit filter. I guarantee you.
Yes. The radio app. So the Core Apps has developed a completely new application, which is Radio by Deezer. So why this new application? It's to target a new audience. Those people don't know what is a streaming service, so we need to drive this new audience in this application, and it will be the bridge between Deezer and this radio app. So we'll have different benefits, like you can collect all your favorite tracks thanks to the fingerprinting. And then, if you want to listen to this music of your favorite tracks on the go, you have to go to Deezer. So it's an interesting new application and important for us.
Yes, and it's already 10, so we need to speed up a bit. So
Okay.
podcast offline, so the ability to download the podcast and listen it on the go, even if you have no network, which is great. Finally, it's a kind of a market standard feature.
And Songcatcher should be available on iOS at the beginning of the next quarter. And regarding the hardware application, we will revamp the Apple Watch, so from a design point of view and a faster access to your content.
And finally, Deezer is already available on the Alexa, on Amazon Alexa, and Google Home. We have on both platforms something like 100 MAU, which is good. And we all released before the end of the year Deezer Free, which is a great achievement because, as you know, we have a lot of users in it, and we hope for a lot of stickiness. And also, Google Assistant will be available on Google Assistant on mobile, tablet, TV, cars, and stuff like that. It's also great. Achievement for the team.
And Amazon Fire TV will be released at the end of the month. So if you want more details regarding the strategy behind all these launches, and if you want to have also all the launches because it's just an overview, please go to the product marketing roadmap.
Thank you to all
Thank
the
you
team.
to all the product and leads team. Thank you to my team.
Product, R&D, QA, designers, product marketers,
Jan,
stuff like that.
Camille, and my team.
I
Thank
come
you,
back
everybody.
in less than a month to give you some first numbers about the things that we just released to update you on the new and exciting stuff. Thank you very much. Have a great day.